let's talk about how to properly use a blending stump when creating a graphite drawing. The blender is simply a rolled up piece of newspaper. There's nothing inside of the blender. It simply pushes around the pencil in your drawing that already exists on your paper. So I'm going to draw a little bit with my 4B pencil. And then I'm going to draw a little bit with my B pencil. And I'm shading with them right up against each other so you can see the difference in value. Now notice how the marks I was making are horizontal. They were all going in this direction. If I want to blend, I shouldn't do so until I have completely eliminated the white of the paper from underneath the pencil. So you don't want to use the blender on pencil markings that look like this, because you're still going to be able to see them even after you blend. The more pencil you draw with, the better the blender will work. So I've drawn in a horizontal direction, so I'm going to use my blender in a vertical direction. Before I use it, it's kind of dirty, so I'm going to clean it. And to clean the blender, you use a sandpaper block. This is just a little sheet of sandpaper. So we're just going to sand down the blender until all of this really dark graphite comes off, because I don't want to ruin my drawing by getting this dark graphite on it. So notice the angle that I'm holding my blender at on the side like this. You don't want to clean the blender like this. You'll ruin the tip. So keep it at this angle and just rub it on the sandpaper until you notice that the black of the graphite stops coming off. It's not going to become completely white again, but it will clean all that graphite off of there. So now it looks like this. Okay, so now I'm going to use my blender at that same almost like 45-degree angle. I don't want to blend with it up here like this. I don't want to keep it flat on the paper, just like this. And I'm going to blend in the opposite direction that I drew. And you'll notice how it starts to sort of eliminate some of my streaky pencil marks. If I blend in the area where my two different values are touching, it will start to kind of blend them together a little more smoothly. It's important to remember that what you do with the blender is not permanent. You can still go back now and draw on top of this again and then reblend. You just want to be careful of over blending, because this is a drawing. I'm creating a graphite drawing, so I want to be able to see some of my pencil marks. I don't want to blend them all away, but this helps to eliminate the white of the paper. So you can see now I'm going in with my pencil again so that the transition from one value to the next is a little bit smoother. Again, notice how much pencil I'm using before I even blend. You don't want to use a blender until you've covered the paper in pencil. So now watch what happens if I were to use my pencil like this instead and then blend over it. It doesn't work. You can still see the pencil marks through the graphite that I blended around on my paper. So just remember, use all the pencil first, then blend. If you don't want to blend, you don't have to. In fact, sometimes drawings are more interesting when we don't use a blender.